Hello, 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 and welcome. Let me just turn the volume off on that screen up there. Here we go, buddy. Turn the sound off. There we go. So, welcome to a very, very wet Portsmouth. It's starting to rain now. It's actually chucking it down. So, how is everybody? What have we got? We've got bottle making gurus in. A Fox. Shh, the boss is in. Shh. And Natalie's in. And Lewis is in. But most importantly, Connor and Paige are in. So, no swearing, please. In the chattings. Yeah, we're live. So, hello, Connor and Paige. You were fantastic the other day. Absolutely fantastic. That was so funny. It was really funny. It was great. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to do trees. Trees. Car. Baby Jesus. We do like that sketch. Harry Enfield and Chums, very funny. Very funny. Right then, so, where should we start? Should we just have a little chat for 5 minutes? Tell you a funny story about trees. Trees. I used to be, before I developed a heart problem, I was a coach driver. 25 years, blimey. I loved it. It was a fantastic job, driving people all over Europe on a holiday. It was great. I did a little bit of bus work as well before that. And people are totally different. You get on the bus, they're going to work, they're miserable. You get on the coach, going on holiday, they're happy. One of the things, it used to freak me out, it used to really, really freak me out, was northern France and Belgium. And you're driving along and you're looking around and you're thinking, there's something in the back of your mind says, something's not right here. Something weird. And it actually took me a couple of years to work out what the issue was. And I'd gone to, I can't remember what, so many of Bullyless mines in northern France. When they had the big eclipse and everybody went across to Europe to watch this big eclipse, we took a coach full of people. I think it was for Travels for Your Holidays or something like that, or Newmarket Promotions or something. And I was just sat in this field with about 100 other coaches, and everybody's out with like silly little black things on the rise and that, looking at the eclipse. And it suddenly dawned on me what it was. All the trees in the area are the same size and the same type of tree. So you'll get a copies of trees, like, say, I don't know, birch, and they're all the same size. And it took me a little bit to work out what it was. It's because they were all planted at the end of the First World War. So they've all grown up the same, and they're all the same sort of trees. Whereas in England, we don't get that. You get little copies of trees, and every tree is different. There's like 3 or 4 different varieties of tree in this one copy. So all different heights, and some have been 20 years old, some are 100 years old. And that's what it was. It was just something in the back of my mind was saying, there's something not right with the scenery. That was not it. It used to freak me right out until I worked out what it was. So that was a fun one, a fun little fact about trees. So, should we make a tree? Should we? Now, there are 2 types of trees in this world. There's only 2. Deciduous and Evergreen. And before somebody in the chat says palm tree isn't a tree. A palm tree, by botanical definition, is a large woody herb. So you've learned something now. Even before we started, you've learned something. A palm tree is a large woody herb. It's not a tree at all. It's in the same family as, believe it or not, a banana. Oh, get on with it, Dad. Never mind that, Dad. We're having a good old chat here first. And Alex. Hello, Kenneth. Good. Yeah, very good evening, Kenneth, in the other side of the world, in Australia. Are palm trees dinosaurs? No, Fox, but I've actually got to show you palm trees with dinosaurs. See, hey, I got you there, mate. I was ahead of the game then. That's what we're going to do. Next week, I'm going to show you how to make palm trees. Okay, that aren't actually trees. Palm, large woody herbs. Okay, they're in the same family, believe it or not, as bananas. So whenever it says here bananas are fruit, it's actually not. A banana is a herb. Weird. It's true. It's weird, but it's true. Right, so trees. We're going to start off today with doing a deciduous tree. Now, a deciduous tree, Conan Page, that's one that leaves all the leaves fall off in the winter. All right. And an evergreen is like your Christmas tree. The leaves don't fall off in the winter. All right. So what we're going to need? We're going to need some wire. Not softy wire. You want one that's quite stiff, and when you do that way, it doesn't blow up and fall over. All right. It's going to be quite stiff wire. Now, in the UK, for those of us in the UK, I use this stuff from Wilkinson's all-purpose garden wire. I could have got it from the pound shop because it's actually £1 in Wilkinson's, £1, and that would be enough to make a fair few trees. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to need lengths of wire. All right. Ideally, about a dozen, and depending on how large you want your tree, depends on how long bits of wire you need. Now, I'm not going to do very large trees for the simple reason I'm going to use them for tabletop gaming later on. So, you want to cut your wire. You don't want to use these. It's a big no-no. Don't cut wire with these. They're not going to like it. And the person that very kindly gave me these as a Christmas present one year will do his nut if I use them on a tree. So no, don't use those. These ones here. Do we use it? No. Not even these ones that are like bulletproof. You want normal, everyday household wire cutters. Right? And literally, you want to cut about 12. That's quite a short one. I'm going to do a bush. I'm going to do a bush with this one. I might even use this one for my sort of buddy build with Ted on the universal carrier. I'll do a little diorama. I've actually ordered another kit to go with that, which is the £25 field gun and quad tractor. So I might do a little European diorama of them all together. Right, so we're going to cut about a dozen of these. Right. Like I say, we're not going mad with length, we're just going to do like a small bushy tree. For this one, but we'll change it up in a minute. So basically, we're just snipping away. As I'm snipping, who else is in? Anybody else apart from Dad and Kenneth turned up? Scally models. And Kenneth, thank you for staying up, Kenneth. I know it's very late in Australia. Now, must be knocking on for midnight-ish, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Lewis, I hope to goodness you're on the road and having a break somewhere, having your 45-minute taco break, and you're not within striking distance and that. Well, that was a tough old bird. How many have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Oh, thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth is very, very popular on Instagram. He has a few thousand more followers than I've got, but then he's a lot better painter than I am. But I've never seen him make a tree yet. Kenneth, we've never seen you make a tree. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on, think of it, we've never seen Fox make a tree. 9. Oh, he's in the yard. Okay. That's all right. As long as you're not driving. You have schools in Doncaster, do they? Blimey. Yorkshire schools. Who'd have thunk it? I've made trees. There's a bit of one on Foxy's model I gave him. Oh, is there? Okay. Oh, right. How many have we got anyway? So what? It's not exact size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, for goodness sake. I'll turn my phone off. Oh, it's my wife. Hang on, this is going to be. Hello, dear. I'm live on YouTube. Say hello. Pardon? Have you paid? Okay, thank you. Okay. Right. That was my wife video calling from downstairs. And I did say to her, I'm going on YouTube at 2 o'clock. Right. 1, 2, 3. That's 12. Right. So what we want to do is now we've got our bunch of stickies, wiry things. We want to start twisting them together. But you want to start about 1 inch or 2 up. We'll separate them all around a little bit and then twist them together. And what we're going to do, twist them round, twist them round, start twisting them around each other. Now basically this bottom bit, we're going to do the same a little bit. We're going to start twisting it around a little bit, and these are going to form the roots. And it'll give it a nice steady base for you to sit on, to stand on, should I say. Oh, Andy's in. Hello, Andy. Making mayhem. And Scott's in. Nice. Right. So basically, we've now got the starting of our trunk and a root system. So it'll sit on your diorama and you can build up. So what we're doing is we're going like that. And then we're going to leave branches poking out at different angles. And twist them out. All you're doing is just basically, when you get to this stage, you start twisting 2 wires together. And what that will do is that will start forming your branches. And then leave the ends. Twisting by the pool. Who was that? Oh, that was Dire Straits, wasn't it? Can't sing it. Copyright. So start twisting and twisting and twisting. And twisting and twisting. Until you've formed a skeleton of your basic tree form. It's really that simple. Trees aren't that hard to do. And once you're happy with the size you've done and the shape it's in, you want to give your hands a little bit of a rest, because it does hurt your hands a little bit doing that, because you're constantly trying to bend them in a black wire. Oh, have a cup of tea. So what's the next thing you want to do? Well, the next thing you want to do is you want to get some of this stuff. This is Dad's hair clay. However, this is very old. That's hair clay. And I've been struggling with it because it's not in the best of shape now. It air dries, even if you put it in a sealed bag. It's still not the greatest thing to work with. It dries out extremely quickly. And what you want to do, now, I've been having trouble with this because it's getting quite dry. I can't seem to put it on thin enough. So basically, all you're going to do is you're going to get your your metal frame, your armature, and you're literally going to cover the entire thing in Das air clay. So, give it a bit of a squidge, get it as thin as you can, and just lay it on, and literally just keep going. Just keep going and going and going and going and going. And you'll get to a stage where it's completely covered, and then you have to leave it for 24 hours to dry. So we're going to leave that there. I've got to finish that one off later. Here's one I made earlier. It's like Blue Peter, in true Blue Peter style, and I've painted it with brown. Now, whatever you do, please, 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 please don't use your modeler, your Citadel paints, your army painter to paint that. Please don't do it. Just go and buy either something like that, a tester pot, or some craft paint from the Works or Wilkinson's, or that's a Crawford Black one. No, please don't use your very expensive modelling paints just to paint the trunk of a tree. So the next stage then, that's quite a thick one, because like I said, my air chloride Das is on its way out. It's on its last legs. What you want to do then is you want to get it to look like something like this. Oh, I'll just knock my paints flying. That sort of thickness for a trunk. So how do we get it from that to that? Right. So the next stage, let me put that back up there out of the way. The next thing you want to do, after you painted it and it's all dried, you want to get some of this steel wool, not a driller pad. Whatever you do, don't get one of those driller pads that have got the soap in it. You don't want that. You want a normal wire wool from any DIY shop, your B&Qs or your home bases or anywhere like that. Steel wool, wire wool. Because what you want to try and do, you want to try and form. Well, I've gone. My internet's gone a bit funny, is it? Oh, sorry. I'm with internet issues. Right, so what you want to do is literally, you want to start unraveling this, and it can be a pain to get going. So we'll use a pair of scissors. Be careful with this stuff though. Don't go on a fag when you're doing it. Don't go on a cigarette when you're doing this. I'm gonna stop using that word because it's a bad word in America, and I keep forgetting. Over in England, it's a slang term for a cigarette. But don't smoke when you're doing this. Have you seen wire wool when it burns? Quite spectacular. Yes, you can burn wire wool. Right, so let's start unraveling this. You want it as thin as you possibly can, and it doesn't matter if you get holes in it. You actually want holes in it, and when we lay it on there, we're going to start putting holes in it. But you want to get it, tease it all apart, get it as thin as you can. Within reason, obviously. You don't want to try and beat it out like it's gold leaf. You want to try and get it relatively thin, and then start teasing it so you widen it out. Now the next thing you want to do, in fact I'll do it now before we start finishing off the teasings, what I'm going to do is you want to warm up the hot glue gun. Let me just plug mine in. You could use super glue. Let's stick this on. Back up there before I forget to stand on it. Right then. So let's go back to teasings. Let's just turn up. Anybody else turned up? Shane Young. Hello, Shane. Nice to see you. So back to the teasings. All right, get it. Really work it thin. Thin. Very thin. And then in a couple of minutes, that hot glue gun will be nice and warm. Can we get it further that way? Yeah. We'll just keep playing with it. It is a bit of a pain, this stuff, though. You'll end up, if you're not careful, you can end up with it. It's like a splinter, a little metal splinter. Oh, it's a pain, and it hurts. Just be careful. Right. Be brave, but be careful. Right. So we've got it teased out a little bit. We can rip it in half now. Right now, tease it. Keep teasing, and eventually you'll get it. So it's very thin. Right. Now what you want to do is grab our glue of much hotness and wrap it around me compressor. It's warm. Right. What you want to do, just on the ends, put some little dollops of glues. Oh, come on. It's not quite warm enough. Side a minute. And then literally plonk it on, right? And then roughly trim it with your fingers. Plonk him on there. And what you're trying to achieve is the bushiness, but you want to leave air pockets in between. You want to leave gaps. If you look at a tree in nature, it's not like a lollipop. It's not just a blob. And that's where people go wrong. It's great to have big gaps in it. Gaps are your friends when it comes to trees. So get there. Squidge him on there. And literally squidge him on it. Do a little bit around here. And you see now it's starting to take the shape and form of quite a natural looking tree. And then I'll leave that to one side for a minute. That's enough, actually. Wire woolings. Now, ideally, what you want to do then is you want to take it to your spray booth and spray it greens and browns. As this is on here, I'm going to show you a bit. This is where you use your imagination. Imagine I've taken this downstairs now to my spray booth, and I've gone squeeze a pull, and it's green now with flecks of brown on that in it. All right. Then what you want to do is you want to cover it in glue. Now what I like to do is, this is my tree bath. It's a mixture. It's got a bit of green paint in it. It's a mixture. It's a 50-50 mix of PVA and water. He's heading. Oh, blimey. Hello, Ted. And Chris. Hello, Chris. And the cat. That's Dottie. Dotty, what are you doing? Dotty, wait, cat. Why are you trying to eat a plastic bag, you silly cat? You stupid creature. Anyway, forget the cat, ignore the cat. She's an idiot. Right, so should we just dip it? Let's just dip it. It's a 50-50 mix. PVA. Are you going, are you? It's my own fault for leaving the door open. I'll put a bit of paper down. So use your imagination, theatre of the mind. We painted it green, we sprayed it green. And what we're going to do now is we're literally dipping it. Right, and it's going to go all gloopy and horrible and messy and nasty. So once you've dipped it and dipped it all, right, you're going to leave it. And you're going to leave it on a piece of paper so that it stops dripping. All right. And then all you're going to do then is you're going to get your flock and you're going to flock over it. Literally, you're just going to literally sprinkle flock on it and then leave it. And that's basically how we make a deciduous tree. It's very messy. I usually do it outside in the garden, this bit, because it is messy. It's fun, but it's messy. And all you're doing is you're covering the wire wool with a PVA water mix, and the PVA will then seal and it will stop it rusting. It won't stop it all from rusting, but it will last a few years, shall we say. And that's basically how we make a tree like that. Really, really simple. It's a long process. It takes a couple of days. I won't lie to you. It's a couple of days of drying times and things like that. But they're so simple to make. If you just use a wire frame and then wire wool, put that on there. And let that dry. It's very messy though, that's the only problem. It's messy. So I don't like doing it in here. But oh, is it? Where's my wife's gone? Here's a tip from Mr. Stewart. Look at that. Look at that. This is from Wilkinson's. It's called a messy board. And it's literally just a clear plastic sheet. It's quite thick actually. It's a couple of mils thick. For a couple of quid from Wilkinson's. Stick that on top of your cutting mat when you're doing messy work. It's a bit late for my cutting mat because it's already pretty beat up and dirty now. It's definitely too late for Paul's cutting mat because that's actually dead, basically. It looks like it's been sat on by an incontinent elephant and painted on by Picasso. So Paul, get one of these next time you buy a new cutting mat, mate. Get one of these. You could use this as a palette, and then for £2.50 every so often, just throw it away and put a new one down. Genius, genius. Flocking, yeah. Right. So that's basically a very messy way of doing it, but it makes a fantastic. Let's show you. Get another one. They do make fantastically realistic trees. Once you've got the flock on. And that's how I do deciduous trees. They're fun. They're just messy. It's messy fun. There's nothing wrong with messy fun now and again. Right, so how would you make... Is that right? Was it? Did you get that? Did you get that right? So how would you make an evergreen tree? I've already started hacking this to bits. What's flock? What's flock? Oh, sorry, Nat. Flock is... There's different variations of flock. The one you'll find most commonly, is made from sawdust, powdered sawdust that's dyed and then dried in big kilns, and you end up with something that looks like this. This is flock. It's what we use for scenery, for basing, So basically what you do is once you put your PVA glue on it, this is the sort of stuff you're going to sprinkle on your tree. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, Nat. But that's what flock is like, all right? You get different colours. There's every colour you could possibly imagine of flock, and different greys, different sizes. So, mainly used for, started off actually, flock was mainly used for model railways. People that made big boards and scenes for model railways. And then we sort of jumped on it as model makers. We jumped on, oh, cool idea, we'll have that. We'll use that. You're welcome. Right, so this was, until I chopped it in half, a baby's bottle brush. And we're going to turn this into something that looks like that. So how are we going to do that? Virtually the same technique. We don't need it that big. So actually we could get a nice sized tree and a small tree out of this. So let's get our trusty wire cutters. We don't need that much of a trunk. So ooh, there misses. Use these ones. There we go. Right then, so we're going to use about there. Yeah, I went about there. So we're going to do the same again. Try and cut through this wire. Break out the skizzers. There we go. Right then. Now we break out the skizzers, because what we're going to do now is we want to give this an haircut. It's going to be everywhere, and it's going to get everywhere. So I put the messy mat down. And basically, we're going to start trimming it roughly into the shape of a conifer. Just chop away. Now, the thing about nature is very random. There is a shape to a conifer, which is like a triangular shape, but it's not perfect. Look at the mess. Oh, look at the mess. See, making trees is a messy business, which is why. Oh no, not trees! Make a tree. I hate making trees just because of the mess they make. So basically, you want to shape it, all right, into something resembling an evergreen. So twist that back together again. The top, and then trim it again. Oh, I hate this stuff. I should have bought a bigger pair of cutters, shouldn't I? Oh, come on. There we go. We need a pointy bit at the top. Right. Oh, what a mess. Oh, mess. Right. Now, don't throw this stuff away. Because what you can do is you can grab clumps of it. And you can actually make. If you was to dab a hot glue and then sit that into it, add some more to it, and then paint it, that would make quite bulrushes if you were doing a water diorama around the river and things like that. I never throw things like this away. I always stick it in a little pot I was like, oh, I can use that. Bit of hot glue, dab it in, colour it, boom, bushes. Always save your little things. It's like greeblies. Save your greeblies, you never know when you're going to need them. Just treat these like greeblies. And we'll just stick them in a little pot. I have another pot full of this sort of stuff in the drawer, so I'll put that in with that later. Right, so after we've made a mess and we've trimmed our tray, we do exactly the same thing. We dip it in the PVA and then dip it in the flock. That's it. That's simple, Sean. No, it's just messy. It's messy stuff. Doing that's messy, but you get the idea now. Very simple. You could just dip it and use it. Right, the next tree we could do. No, we'll leave that for next week. We'll leave that for next week. Yeah, palm trees for next week. What should we? Should we do a palm tree now? And the next week we could do water effects. No, Carl, don't use mixed herbs, mate. No, don't use mixed herbs. They disintegrate over a bit. I tried it. I've tried that, Carl, mixed herbs, but they do seem to disintegrate after a bit. I'm not a big fan of it. It's usable and it's cheap, but I just find these sort of break down after. Do a palm tree. Oh, the fuck, I'll do a palm tree. Palm trees take a bit longer, but yeah, palm trees take longer. Right, what you need for a palm tree, you need a stick. You need a stick. You need some wire. And you need. Oh, where will I put it? Oh, here it is. Masking tape. Masking tape. So why would we need masking tape? We're going to make the leaves out of masking tape. Right then. Scissors. A nice bit of masking tape. And we're going to need wire. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some of these about that long. Literally about that long. Like that. And like that. We'll just do a few. Right. Sure. I've got this masking tape. Get a piece of wire. Put it in the middle. Like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold it over. Squish it all down. You end up with something like that. But, it's taking a little fan. Right. Then what you want to do, you want to cut out the basic shape of a leaf. This isn't going to be a very big one, but I spent days and days making these. And it drove me up the wall. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get your scissors and you're going to snip and snip and snip and snip all the way down. And then turn it over and do the same on the other side, and then just snip it, nip it, nip it, nip it all the way down. Give it a bend, and as you bend it, ruffle it up. And that's how you make your palm tree leaves. Enough, we don't want that. So for palm tree, you want to make about 30 of those. Right? It does take some time to make them. But it's literally, it's very simple to make. And then you just paint them green, just spray them green. Yellows. Who's triggered? Herbs. Oh. Ted, did you know a banana's a herb? It's not a fruit, it's a herb. He's triggered now. Right, so do it again. Yeah, Carl, it does work for ferns as well, mate. I've done it with ferns as well. I've done different sorts and types, and they're all paper made. So basically, that's the effect we're going for with the leaves, the leafies. It just gets a bit tedious making leaves after a bit. That'll tell you. Dad and Scott, I spent about a week making them once, didn't I? Talking at the wall. And basically just cut out the shape. Do your little slits in it. Really simple. Really simple. And then just start snipping away. Virtually right down to the wire. Take it to the wire. And you'll be alright. Snip, snip, nip. Snip, snip. What I'll do, I'll finish those 2 trees in the week and then show you what they look like. Because it's just drying times are just a nightmare. Right, so again, like that, and then just comb it. You just end up with palm leaves. So how do you do the trunk? The trunk's really simple. What you're going to do is you're going to get your wire, the same wire that you use for your tree armature. And you're going to start at the bottom. Next week, Tracy Island. Next week's water effects, Dad. I'm going to have to show you how to make water effects, aren't I? And if you're really good, I'll show you how to make ice effects. Ooh, yeah. Well, if you promise to be a good boy, Dad. Right, so what you're going to do is just going to get your wire and you're going to wind it up your dick. This is a takeaway chopstick. Sticky back plastic in yogurt pots. Not this week, Ted. Not this week. Maybe soon, though. I'm sure I can find something to do with sticky back plastic in the yogurt pot. Right, so once you've run your wire up, give it a snip. Snip the tip. The next thing you want to do, make sure it's not going to stab you in the fingers. Bend it in. Next thing you're going to do, get your masking tape. And then do better do it the right way around. And then cover the entire thing in masking tape. And you want 2 or 3 turns per level sort of thing, so do it at an angle. And just build it up. Just building up the bark with that masking tape. Break it off a bit. squidge it, squidge it. And just squidge it on there so that it conforms to the way it shows the. If you look at a palm tree, it's got quite a spiral going up it. I'll just give it a quick coat in this stuff. And a little wire there. Well, ideally, the next thing you want to do is you want to coat this in PVA. And what that'll do is that'll have the same effect as turning this masking tape into paper mache and then hardening, giving you quite a solid trunk of a Harry Potter wand. Wingardium Leviosa. Right, now the other thing you could have done, if you can't get hold of the wire, you can actually do this spiral effect with a hot glue gun. Right, so give it a twist of that. Right, so let's do that. Another good tip for you: don't throw these things away. The old Mr. Kipling's and that pie trays. You don't want to throw these away, they're good stuff. Good stuff. Have some PVA glue on the job. We'll give it a quick coat in that. Some in that. Now don't use your best fancy painting brushes. Get yourself a skanky manky old brush. A PVA in. And literally paint it on. Slap it on, as Ted would say. Go on, Ted, you say it. I can't do it like you do it. I haven't got a button. A slap it on button. Now that's going to take a fair bit of time to dry, which is a bit of a pain. And in true Blue Peter Knott style, I haven't done one. Here's one I prepared earlier. So you're just going to leave that to dry. And when that's doing that, you might as well just carry on and make some more leaves. Leaves. Can we have the Latin name for those trees? I need to look them up. Which ones, Ted? The palm herbs. Oh, 2 screens. All right. Let's have a look. The Latin name for palm trees. Although probably won't do it. Acacia is apparently the scientific name for palm tree. There you go. There you go, Ted. All right. Arecaceae. Acacia. Sounds a bit like Vallejo. It's one of them sort of words. But what you'll have to do next time you've had on your next live stream, Ted, you'll have to pronounce it for us. But only after 1 or 2 Highland Parks. Right. So, let's have a look at chat. Well, I'm cutting a few more. Make a few more leaves while I'm. So what would I do next? Next with that, what I would do is paint it brown. And then you want your Daz air clay again. The old Das air clay jobby. And you need to make like a bit of a ball. Not too big. And then you blob it on the top. But only when you've done all your leaves. And then what you do is you poke it all in. Poke all your leaves into your Das, and then you have to leave it again for another day, another 24 hours, for the air clay to go off and harden, and your leaves to get locked in place. And the thing I like to do, what I did last time when I made those trees, was I made all the leaves and I took them down to the spray booth and I sprayed them all greens and yellows and left them to dry, and then did the ball of Das air clay to plonk on the top, and then poked all the leaves in. And then your next stage after that is you get some lichen, and all you do is you fill in the top with the lichen, and then underneath, if you get a cocoa fiber hanging basket mat, that's a big mouthful, isn't it? A cocoa fiber hanging basket mat, and you chop it to bits into just strands, and then glue that to the underside. It looks like the dead leaves underneath the palm tree. Silex babylonica. Do you know what, Ted? I'll have a look. I'll have a look and see if we can do a Silex babylonica, whatever one of those is. Do you know what? I'm going to find out. By the power of Google. Have a look, Kelvin. Oh, okay. Right. So, what was it, Ted? S-A-N-X. Silex babylonica. Tortosa. Okay. Oh, do you know, Ted? You could. You could. I'm not going to do it on camera, Ted. I'm not going to do it as a live stream. But I tell you what, mate. I'm going to do one now just for badness. I'm going to make one just for badness, Ted. I'll put the pictures up in the boom up. I reckon I could do that. Ha ha. For those of you that want to know, Silex babylonica is a weeping willow. How's Japan, mate? How is Japan? It's not very nice here. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain, although it's quite warm. It's absolutely chucking it down now. I'm glad I went to town when I did. It is a challenge, Ted, but you know me. If you challenge me, Ted, I'll do it, and I'm going to do it now. I will make one. It was on lockdown, yeah. We still are, sort of, but we can't really talk about it because YouTube doesn't like it and Facebook doesn't like it for some bizarre reason when you talk about it. So we just call it chocolate velociraptor, and then we'll get away with it. Yeah, you know me, Ted. I'm up for the challenge, Ted. Up for the challenge. Oh, right. Do you know what? I'm gonna be really cheeky. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna make myself a cigarette because I'm actually stumped now. Unless you want to sit and watch me making lots and lots of palm leaves, it's really easy to do, guys. Honestly, palm leaves are so much fun to do. They get a bit tedious after a bit, but they're so easy to do. And like Carl said, you can use them as ferns and everything. Any sort of style. You don't even have to cut them. You can make any sort of style leaf you want. So simple to do. So simple. Make a monkey puzzle tree. Yeah, they're a bit boring though, Fox. There's one. Has anybody ever been to Sorrento in Italy? There's a place called a very famous place everybody goes to called the Foreigners Bar. Fantastic monkey puzzle tree outside. They've actually got a metal frame holding it up because it's such bizarre angles this thing shoots off at. Oh, hello, Sandy. I can't believe in Japan. We were going to go because Pip and the kids went to Seoul last year. We were going to go to Japan next year on holiday. Then, of course, it's the old Olympics and prices, and I can't believe how expensive Japan is. It's no different to, cost of flights and that to get there. When you actually get Tokyo, is just must be the most expensive city in the world to live in. Frightening, absolutely frightening. Just make stuff and hang out. Yeah, we'll just hang out now, folks. There's no good butchers here, mate, either. Not really. There is, but just not me. Oh. Yeah, they have Gunpla shops, yeah. Gundam and Gunpla. Wow. Wow, and you got the Bandai shop as well. Oh, we'd have a field day. Us model makers. Honestly, us model makers would have a field day there. You won't believe it, Kelvin. We'd be in there like a shot. All the Gundam shops, the Bandai. We did the Bandai tour, Bandai factory tour, the Tamiya factory tour. This lot here, they'd be drooling. Drooling. The claw machines. The claw machines. I don't know. Right, so anybody got any questions on making trees? Anybody? Yeah. Well, I've got Gundams there. We got Anza here somewhere. I don't know. We're not sure whether that translates as God hand or something else written in Japanese. We don't know. Nobody's ever been so sure. How to make bark realistic? Depending on the scale, but you could do the same technique as I did on the wooden flooring, where you get, once you put your air clay on, you get yourself a cocktail sticks and then literally scrape the bark pattern on. That would work. It depends on the scale, really. If you're only doing tiny scale, I wouldn't, I wouldn't bother, but that would work. Scraping it on, or one of the suede bushes. I made a brass and copper, aren't they? It looks like a toothbrush, but you wouldn't want to clean your teeth with it. That would work as well. Just gently rubbing that on it. Biggest tree I've ever made. It's downstairs. It's only half. It's actually, no, I can't really class the one downstairs as a tree. It's a piece of wood. It's actually a piece of real wood that's been modified and painted. It's about 3.5 foot tall. Halfway up it is a speeder bike, but it's been painted camouflage with the stormtrooper on it, halfway up it, and then underneath him is a stormtrooper walking. So it looks like the Forest of Endor. I've got creepy vines and all sorts hanging down. That's quite big. That's down the front room. It cost me a fortune by the time I bought a speeder bike, a Bandai speeder bike, and a stormtrooper. It was quite an expensive build, that was, but it's fun. But the biggest tree I've ever made from scratch is, it's about, I'd say it's about 13 inches tall, and it's got a mini art centaur figure, and that's about that tall, standing underneath it, and that's downstairs. That was a fun build, actually. It was something different, but it came out all right. I was surprised how well that came out, actually, that tree, for the size, because I was getting worried about the bigger you make it, would the wire wall idea hold out in a bigger scale, and it actually made it look really good. I was quite pleased with it. I know. Connor and Paige are probably saying that silly Dave's having a cigarette. It's naughty. I know I'm naughty. Sorry, girl. Sorry, kids. It's naughty. It's naughty. But right, do you know, I'm gonna finish this tree. Over the next couple of days, I'll finish it, and I'll put a picture in the boom up along with the others. I will finish them. It's just that it's not the sort of thing you can do in an hour and a half live stream. It's a bit drying times are a bit of a pain. But next week, drying times will be the opposite issue. We're going to do water next week, and speed is of the essence with one of them. Where are you going? A cabaret. What the heck is that? Where is that place? Anybody know what that is? Fox. I moved to Japan. I want to live between a noodle bar, some public garden, and a hobby store. I'd love to. I would love. All right. I would love to go to. I really would love to visit Japan, but we just priced it. Or tackled it. Oh, right. We priced it. Me and the wife priced it for us and the kids, and it would just be far too expensive. The hotels were the killer. So she's on about either Seoul again next year or Thailand. Just, you know, somewhere, a different culture to look at. So she's very into culture, my wife. She's got no interest in going to Benidorm or Mallorca for a couple of weeks. She wouldn't have it. She wouldn't have it. My wife's idea of her, she farts in bed's idea of holidays is going somewhere and absorbing the culture. So, which I quite like. I quite like that as well. So, yes, good seafood. Yeah, I am actually looking forward. My suggestion actually was Vietnam, but she wasn't having none of that. I quite fancied Vietnam as somewhere different to go on holiday. Apparently, it's quite good. 3 people I know have been, so it's lovely. It's fantastic. And you walk around the corner and there's an American tank staring at you. Things like that. But, you know, it would have been nice. But durian. It would. Fox actually would be happy with that. That's his sort of holiday, isn't it, Fox? Peace and quiet, scenery, a bit of history, a bit of nature, and noodles, and you'd be happy as Larry. Actually, I would. I'd be happy as well. I think that disappointed us all this year was not being able to go anywhere because we had planned. A few of us had planned to go up to Orkney to visit Scott. The durian fruit. That was funny. You'll have to do that again, Fox. You'll have to try a real one. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've had them once or twice in Morrison's. I'm pretty sure we have. That was strange fruit, the durian fruit. Very strange beast. Not fun. Not fun at all. I wouldn't eat it. The one I was quite surprised at was a dragon fruit. We had them coming to work. They're very big on, you know, we got this new thing in, you got to try it. It is a quiet taste like olives, yeah. I couldn't eat olives as a kid, but I don't mind them now. Dragon fruit, try that, Fox. Actually, it's really surprising how nice dragon fruit is. We had to taste it. Which is quite a nice idea. I mean, you get somebody comes in and what's this like? You know, instead of lying to a customer here, actually, yeah, it was quite. It tasted a bit like this and a bit like that, and it was nice. Or well, I wasn't a big fan myself, to be honest, but you might like it. You know, everybody's taste different. But rambutan, yes, Yeah, we tried that. We've had that. I've had that. See, I'll eat fruit. I won't eat vegetables. Hardly any vegetable. I'm not a vegetable person. Right then, should we call it a day then? We're going for an hour now. It's chucking it down with rain. I can't do anything else now because of the rain times. So that's what I'll do. I'll finish them during the week and I'll put a picture up in the boom up of what they look like when they're finished. And then next week, we'll do water. Chris, we're going to do water. Water in Majorca don't taste like what it ought to. YouTube falling over, has it? Yeah, if you'd let me in on the islands. Right then. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for coming. What can you do when you're all on lockdown? Well, whilst you're on lockdown, we'll keep you entertained. We'll try and keep you entertained for an hour a day. Some of us will. Somebody will. Who's next? Who's next? What day are we on? Thursday. Don't forget, Thursday we've got Chris is on tonight, aren't you, Chris? Chris is doing tonight. Or is it Ted? I'm not sure. Which one of you two monkeys are doing tonight? Is it Ted or Chris? I can't remember. And then don't forget the weekend you've got Colin and Dave for the brunch. And Fox will be doing his, hopefully, doing his thing, doing his bit. Keep you all going and interested. Can't remember. I'm just getting a couple. It's Chris tonight, is it? Oh, and so don't forget Chris tonight. 8 o'clock is his normal time, isn't it? 8 o'clock, Chris. And then, yeah, and like Fox says, wash your hands. Yeah, like at the bottom, wash your hands, you filthy animals. And we'll see you on Chris's show tonight, where we'll join in the chat without heckling much. Yeah, 8 o'clock. There you go, 8 o'clock. No pants required, only for Chris. All right. So, thanks for coming. Have a very, very pleasant afternoon, and we'll see you in Chris's chat tonight. And thank you for dropping in all the way from Japan, and thank you for Kenneth for nipping in all the way from Australia. We've gone all over the world. And was there anybody in America? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, bye. Take care, everybody. Bye. How do you turn this thing off? Oh, there it is. It's there. Click the button. Ted, press the button.